Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We have some news. FFG is now making their own paints. They are really trying to stick it to Games Workshop, it seems like. How you guys doing? Today we're going to be talking about these new paints and maybe even some little spoilers for possible future expansions and everything that we're going to be seeing because they named all of these paints. So before I jump into it, though, I do want to remind you guys about the giveaway. I am still giving away the Star Wars Black Series Celebration exclusive Maul and Obi-Wan. So if you want to win those, all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. I will ship that anywhere worldwide. And yeah, so that's going to run until the end of the month. So you still got a few weeks left to enter to win that. Just let me know in the comments what what you think of these paints. So basically, yeah, on the live stream yesterday, FFG just announced that, hey, you know what? We got some new core paints coming out, and we've got a core paint set, Imperial paint set, and a Rebel paint set, and it's actually not a bad value. Now, personally, I have a lot of paints already, so and a lot of people are saying, hey, this is a little too late. I get that, but I look at it like this: paint is not an infinite resource. You need to buy new paints from time to time. Even established painters that have a wealth of paints definitely seem like, hey, we need to get more paints periodically. Thing is, buying a whole paint set is something that you might not always do. Like I'll buy like one thing of paint or another thing of paint. I don't buy like 10 things of paint all at once unless I'm getting started. So this is a perfect entry point if you're a new player looking to get started. Although I do kind of question the whole labeling thing. Now here's the thing. These basically are Army Painter paints. And Army Painter's done paint sets for other games before as well. Like CMON has these for like for zombie side and stuff like that. So like this is nothing new to have like your own paint set kind of branded for your company or for a specific type of game. But I kind of question FFG using Legion as their particular paint set model advertising branding for this line of paints, because wouldn't it have made more sense for them to just call it like Galaxy Far Far Away paints or hyperspace paints or even Fantasy Flight's galactic paint set? This way it's not specifically Star Wars. The reason being is these are not only for Star Wars Legion. It's like I saw people asking already, like, hey, are these? Can you use these for Armada? Can you use these for X-Wing? Of course you can. Absolutely you can. And that's the thing is, like, this might even cause some confusion with people thinking, well, what if I have Imperial Assaults? Can I buy these for Imperial Assault? Is that going to work? Now, a lot of you watching this, that might not be a question that you would have in your minds, but keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is targeted towards people who have never painted before. They might not realize that, yes, these water-based acrylic paints are good for any model after you've primed it. Or for games like X-Wing and Armada, models that are already painted, they're thin enough, you can just repaint over those, you don't have to strip them or anything. That these are basically the same paints you would buy for just about any other project for any type of miniature painting. These are perfect for that. Now, a price point, they're coming in at about $3 per vial of paint, which is honestly a lot cheaper than what I pay. That's about standard for for like Vallejo and Reaper Bones and Army Painter, but like I buy Citadel paints, and all of my stuff is in those thicker, shorter, fatter, round tubs that Citadel uses, and my only real problem here is that these are going to be a different size, so they're not going to fit the same in my storage where I have all of my my paint racks. So I don't know if I personally will jump into this type of paint system because I already kind of have a lot invested in a different shape of paint containers, right? So silly thing if that's what's going to make or break it for you, but I may consider. I do have some of the Reaper paints that are a very similar size to this, so who knows? It's possible. But I mean, the price point is a lot cheaper, and especially, and that's the MSRP price point. If these end up being on sale at any given point, then it's going to make it a really good price point. Like if these eventually go down to being like, 20% off at some point, now all of a sudden you have an amazing deal on paints. And the thing is, paint, you're always going to need more paints, and the core set actually has some brushes that come with it. So that is also pretty cool. Now, one of the things that they've done is they put Legion, artwork all over these paints, and that is kind of cool, but they've also named the paints. So, like for our Imperial paint set, we've got there's a wash in each one of them. We've got Death Star Gray, Stormtrooper armor, Plastoid gloss varnish. Pretty cool stuff. Royal Guard Crimson, like that. It's just nice that they named them all. And funny thing is, I actually know people who have really obsessed over, I need to get the exact shade of gray for an Imperial Walker. I have a friend who went through painstaking lengths trying to contact people at Lucasfilm to get the exact shade of gray that was used on the Imperial Walkers in Return of the Jedi, only to find out that that's a type of paint they don't make anymore because it was a lead-based paint. So then trying to match it as closely as possible. like look here you go. Imperial Walker Gray, right? It's just that's it now. Get that one. I mean, I don't know how close of a match it is, but it's good enough for me, that's for sure. Your Rebel Paint set has some different options: Dune Sea, Sandcrawler, Rust, Sandcrawler. So like, here's the thing that makes me think: hey, are we gonna see some different stuff? Are we gonna see some different units that are coming? Are we gonna see a Sandcrawler in this game? A Sandcrawler feels like it might be a bit big, but maybe this is a key that we're getting Jawas, right? Rebel Flight Suit. Definitely something that I have wanted is Rebel pilots, downed Rebel pilots, like a unit, right? Like, because there's not that many more core units I feel like they can do for Rebels, and downed Rebel pilots could even be Special Forces. But I would love the idea of some Rebel pilots on the ground, either maybe getting to their ships, because they like just like Luke in his pilot's outfit, like they carry a blaster too. They have a survival kit. They have, Luke had freaking grenades, when he was flying in his flight suit. So if pilots can have grenades, like they're prepared to be able to get down and, so like I definitely want Rebel pilots for Legion. Even though they might not be your first choice if you're building an army, the fact of the matter is, they're very recognizable, they're iconic, and there's a Rebel flight suit paint color here. So it seems like a given. Right, and then for the core paint set, this is your main one. There's all kinds of little things in here that kind of seem like they're hints. More, there we go. Jabba robes, Sand Trooper Pauldron. That one's kind of cool. Consular White, Mimban Mud over on the far side, all the way over that way. Mimban Mud looks pretty cool. Does that mean we're going to be getting those Mud Troopers? I mean, I think a lot of people expected we would be getting Mud Troopers ever since we saw Solo. So that one's really cool. R2D2 Blue. Are we going to get R2D2? All right, we already have an astromech in one of the personnel packs. Oh, in both of the personnel packs. So R2D2 seems definitely possible. So like very, very cool that we're just getting little hints right here. So I kind of like that. Tusken Raider tan. So maybe we're going to get Tusken Raiders. And if we're getting Tusken Raiders, would they be Imperial? I necessarily don't expect Tusken Raiders would be Imperial, but I definitely also don't expect them to be Rebel. So could we be getting some type of neutral units or a Scum and Villainy faction? I would actually rather see neutral units, or maybe even, like, it factors into one of my last videos where I was talking about creatures and having them be neutral. I would like to see, neutral. Well, I want neutral creatures. I'm also okay with like neutral units that are like Tusken Raiders just taking pot shots at everybody that they can. That would be pretty cool. So that's basically what we got. So we got some new paints coming. The smaller sets are I think $29, and I think the larger set is about $50. So it's a little expensive for an all-in buy, but I mean if you think about how much those paints would cost elsewhere, it's not a bad value, and especially if you can manage to get them on sale, I think it's a pretty good value. But that's what I think. I don't know if the spoilers, if those are spoilers for like future units that are coming, although some of them seem reasonable, like Mud Troopers I would guess we would get anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think. What do or do you think this is too little, too late? What do you think of the value and the price point? I personally think the value and the price point is good. I think it would have been much nicer had these come out when Legion launched. But I also think going forward, and let me know if you agree with me or not, that they will probably have 2 more sets here. I expect them to have a Clone Wars set for each faction, so a Republic set and a Separatist ship, because we need B1 battle droids, right? We need the battle droid tan, right? We need Yoda green or lightsaber green, right? Because with the Clone Wars, we're going to get a lot more green lightsabers. And I can, we all kind of expect that, if they ever do another Luke to have the green lightsaber. But in the Galactic Civil War, there's not a whole lot of lightsaber green versus Clone Wars, when you're going to, you've got your Qui-Gon Jinn, you've got your Kit Fisto, you've got your Yoda, you've got a lot more green lightsabers in there. So I expect they'll do a lot more, so to at least 2 more sets for the Clone Wars, probably to be announced a little bit later. Maybe to launch alongside with the Clone Wars. They are really pushing for Games Workshop. They are really pushing for the Clone Wars of Legion to be very, very successful. So if you are thinking about getting into Legion, this is a good year to get into it. Clone Wars, this game is going to be hotter than ever. This game may even overtake X-Wing, although probably not. But I think it's definitely in the same ballpark. So that's really cool. All right, guys. And no primer yet. So you still have to use regular primer, whether it's Tamiya or Citadel, the Games Workshop's primers. Good primers. Don't recommend normal like Krylon primer though, because that has a tendency to clump up. So Tamiya or Citadel has still the best primers, I think. All right, guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.